As a parent, I think you sometimes worry about your kids getting sick, always watching out to make sure they're safe and healthy. But I don't think any parent could ever imagine your child being in a situation where it's life or death. We have 3 beautiful children. We have our daughter Madeline, who's 9, and then we have our twin sons, Owen and Hudson. They're 5 years old. On Christmas, December 2018, we wanted to have a very simple, low-key, small Christmas with our family.
And then Owen, he said he had a real bad headache. He said he was really hot, but when I touched him, he was super cold.
We pulled back his blanket, and that's when we noticed a purplish tint on the top of his legs.
When I saw that, I said, Kristen, we're going. There was a local ER that had just popped up. We got in there, started checking him out, doing vitals. The nurse tried 5 or 6 times to get a line, but it just would close up. We spoke with the doctor that was in the ER. He said, hey, we're gonna go take you to the hospital. That's when I said, you know what, we'd really like to go to Dell Children's. We trust them. The transport team got there. Justin, he was on the transport team. He just put a jugular line right in his neck and got that real quick. That one in his jugular was the money shot. And we headed down to Dell Children's. She went in the ambulance with him. I followed in my truck.
I kept talking to him because he'd kind of fade out a little bit and then kind of come back. When we got there, we walked into one of the larger trauma rooms. He kept saying, Mommy, I have to go to the bathroom. When he said it the second time, that's when we saw the line that he was coding across the screen.
It was like the movies, it just flatlined. The ER doctor said, hey, let's get nurses lined up. We're gonna do 2 minutes of CPR and switch off.
And there were about 5 or 6 people lined up, just providing compressions to the chest every 2 minutes and alternating so people wouldn't get tired.
20 minutes went by, 30 minutes went by. He came back about 5 times and then back down to flatline. Then it was about 59 minutes. I remember the doctor coming up to me and saying, we have this machine. It's a life support machine. It's called the ECMO.
They were about to stop because there were no many options available. So we decided to put him on ECMO.
It's basically a Hail Mary. We don't know if it's gonna work or not, but that's all we got.
In Owen's case, it was the last-ditch effort. What the ECMO machine does is that it supports the body. It acts as the heart and the lungs for the body and allowing the heart to rest. What hadn't been done before was to place someone on the machine in the emergency room while actively receiving CPR. We hadn't thought it was possible.
When Dr. Mary was gonna come in and do the surgery, I chose to leave to go be with Kristen. It was hard because I didn't know if I was gonna be the last time I held my son's hand. They were doing CPR while Dr. Mary is cutting into my son's neck and surgically inserting catheters in his jugular.
Right now we're talking about an hour and a half of the heart stopped.
They hooked the machine up to him, got him stabilized, got the blood flowing, allowed his heart to just pump there.
Owen was moved out of the emergency trauma room to the PICU.
He had a common viral infection that affected his heart. It can happen to anyone.
His heart did finally, after about 6 days, it started pumping on his own, and we were able to take him off the ECMO, but he was still on the ventilator helping him breathe. We were gonna go ahead and remove it.
One of our main concerns from the get-go was whether he was gonna be able to make a neurological recovery just because of the length of support of CPR that he had received.
You know, they asked if we were ready. It's just a moment to where you don't know what's gonna happen. They turned the machine off and they pulled the tube out. And I remember Owen looking up at me and he goes, when is mommy gonna be here? There's my Owen right there. He's back, you know, he's there.
The best Christmas present ever. We had told the kids that Owen was really sick.
Hudson was always worried about Owen, and you can see that twin bond. Hudson has a stuffed animal, a Curious George. One of the first days we were in the hospital, he gave us Curious George. And he said, my Georgie's gonna talk to his Georgie. All the time in PICU, he had that Georgie in his hand.
Owen was at Dell Children's for 57 days. He was PICU for 30 days and almost close to 30 days in the rehabilitation unit. He had no movement of his entire left side. He was weak everywhere.
Good job.
We had the speech therapist helping him learn how to talk again, occupational therapist helping him begin to use fine motor skills, the physical therapist to crawl again and walk again.
Owen's recovery has been actually pretty profound, not only for me, but for the entire team and staff of the hospital. Owen has shown us that it is our moral responsibility to do everything to provide that child with the best, healthiest life that we can.
I feel like Dell Children's obviously saved our son's life, brought so much more to our family, our new family at Dell Children's.
Owen's going home today, we know that it's true. And everyone at Dell will miss you, miss your family too.
There was a ton of people there. I mean, all the doctors, nurses, there had to have been at least 100 people in there. It was amazing. The fire department was a huge impact to us. The guys in my unit were out there in the waiting room, just being there for us. And they were there from the day we got there till the day we left. The guys in my unit lined up in full dress uniform with the truck waiting for us. Heroes know who heroes are, and they definitely knew that Owen was the hero that day. He fought a hard fight, and he won it.